Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Donovan, and in today's video we're going to be testing out the Fitbit Versa 3, and we're going to go out for a run. The run's going to be roughly 11 to 13 miles, so the plan for this run is basically to test out three things on this new watch. Number one, we're going to test out how well the GPS works, so that's going to be important to know how accurate it is. Number two, the heart rate sensor, we're going to see how accurate that is. And number three, we're going to be testing out the battery life during the run. So I'm starting this run at 74%. I'm going for, like I said, about 11 to 13 miles, hopefully 13, but may end up only being 11 depending on how I feel. So we'll see how long that battery lasts. Like I said, we're starting at 74%, and we'll be testing out that GPS and heart rate. So let's go get after it. So we are 11 miles into the run, at least according to my Apple Watch. So real quick, Apple Watch says 11.03 miles at the moment, and the Fitbit Versa 3 says 10.92. So about 1/100th of a mile off from my Apple Watch. And I've actually found this with a lot of different watches. Typically, that's because they cut corners. So when we actually look at the map, when I get back to my office, I'll take a look. My guess is when I'm going around corners, the Fitbit Versa is maybe cutting those corners a little bit, whereas the Apple Watch is a little more accurate, taking more GPS readings. So we'll test that out. As far as heart rate, you can probably tell my heart rate's probably a little higher than it should be on an easy run, but let's take a look. So Apple Watch says 157, definitely too high right now. And I just hit mile 11 on the Fitbit, so all right, so it says 159. Now, what I've found up to this point is that the Fitbit Versa always tends to be higher than the Apple Watch in terms of heart rate. So it's actually been as high as like 10 beats per minute higher, which is pretty far off. 5 beats, and then sometimes it's right on. So it's a little inconsistent so far, but when I get back to the office, we'll analyze that a little bit and check it out. All right, so we just finished up a 13-mile run with the Fitbit Versa 3. So on my Apple Watch, it ended up being 13.01 miles. On the Fitbit Versa 3, ended up being 12.88, so a difference of 13/100ths. So about 1/100th per mile, which is exactly the same as what it was at 11 miles. And the heart rate, average heart rate on my Apple Watch was 147 beats per minute, and on the Fitbit Versa 151, so a difference of 4 beats per minute. Like I said, it always was a little bit high. And I know the Apple Watch heart rate is pretty accurate for me because I've compared it next to a bunch of other watches, and it's always right on with my Garmin watches, my Amazfit watches. So I'm tending to think that the Fitbit Versa is probably the one that's a little bit more off. We'll test that out more. As far as battery life, I actually haven't looked at that yet. So we started at 71%, and we're gonna hit done here, go back to the main screen, and we're down to 60%. So 11% over the course of 13 miles. That's really good. So battery life is obviously going to be significantly better than a lot of other watches. So that's probably right on with like my Garmin Forerunner 245 Music. Definitely way better than my Apple Watch. So battery life is definitely going to be a whole lot better on this watch. So obviously it's going to easily get you through a marathon. As far as using GPS. Now, I wasn't listening to music. You can see I have headphones on. I was actually listening to music through my Apple Watch, so I wasn't using the music on the Fitbit Versa 3. So that would obviously probably double the battery consumption during that run, but we'll test that out in a future run. So anyways, not bad. The GPS is accurate enough. Probably not as accurate as I would like, but accurate enough. Heart rate, I definitely wish that was a little bit more accurate, but battery life is definitely really solid on that first run.
All right, so we're back in the office. So I want to go ahead and show you that app or that workout that I did a little bit earlier and just compare it up. So first of all, it kind of weirdly shows the time that it actually uploaded to Strava and not the actual time of the run here. So this is the actual workout. So 12.8 according to Fitbit. Here it is, 727 pace per mile, 254 elevation gain. So this is the information that it downloads to Strava. So now I'll go ahead and show you what that same workout looks like on the app. So here is the exercise. So there's the map, and you can see 728 pace. So it actually changed a little bit, and this was 12.9 or 12.88 miles. So you can see that right down there, hour and 36 minutes, 728 pace. And there's the map. Now, unfortunately, you can't zoom in on this map in any way. So there's no like pinch to zoom or anything like that. You can't double tap. So I won't be able to show you where it made the mistakes around the corners and things like that on this map. But when we go over to Strava, I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like. So again, 12.88. Let's go ahead and go into the heart rate. Oh, this is just going to show you the map part. Let's go over here. So there's the splits. Not going to pay attention to that a whole lot. Now, interestingly here, notice that it says 939 feet of elevation gain. That is definitely not accurate. A very flat course. In fact, when it went over to Strava, it said 250 feet of elevation gain. And then here's the average heart rate, so 151. All right, so that's what it says according to Fitbit. Now let's head over to Strava and find that same workout. I think I'm off of it, so I'm gonna have to go into my profile and we're gonna find that same workout. So it did download, it was uploaded from the Fitbit, not from my Apple Watch. So here it is, 12.88, 727, 136. Okay, so let's go in on the map here. And this will show you kind of in detail. That's gonna take a second here. All right, so we'll zoom in a little bit. So I should be able to show you some of like the corners it cuts just a little bit. I mean, it's really not bad though. Only 0.1 mile lost, or 0.01 miles lost for each mile. So really not too bad. So going around there, it looks good. So you can see it kind of did a rounded corner there, even though that's a much more 90-degree angle there, at least for that turn. Slide over here a little bit more, and you can see it kind of is rounding off these turns. So that's a pave trail there, and then it goes onto that road. So yeah, rounding off these corners too. So obviously I didn't make that much of a round. It wasn't going through people's yards, but still it's not bad. That's actually pretty darn good. Only being 1/100th off. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the comparison with the Apple Watch. So here's the Apple Watch. I mentioned earlier, 13.01 miles, exact same workout. So 723 pace per mile. Of course, the difference there being that here, it has a shorter distance, same amount of time, but shorter distance. And so that's the difference in the pace. As far as the heartbeat, notice this one says 147 beats per minute, which is definitely more accurate for how I was running today. And you can go through the different heart rate splits here. But yeah, so 147 beats per minute. So I would say if there's anything that is more concerning to me, it's the heart rate sensor, because obviously this is a fitness watch. It's not just a runner's watch, it's just a fitness watch in general. And so that heart rate sensor needs to be obviously accurate in order to get accurate information as far as calories burned and things like that. So that first run, not super promising. The heart rate definitely seemed a little bit high, but obviously we'll do some more testing. That was just the very first run in it. And then as far as, my map, here's the map with the Apple Watch, but I'm not going to go into detail there. But I do want to show you that here it shows 177 feet of elevation gain, 200 feet of elevation loss, which is far more accurate to what it actually is. And then if I go into Strava, Strava actually corrected Fitbit, because it said 900 some feet of elevation gain on Fitbit, but here on Strava it actually put it at 255. So in comparison to my Apple Watch, it said 177 feet of elevation gain. That's definitely much closer to what it probably was. Now I don't know which one of these is right. I don't know the actual elevation gain of this particular route, but I can assure you that it wasn't 950 some feet. So I'm not really sure where it got that information from, but anyways, that was definitely off. So that's a quick look at the Fitbit first run. Again, GPS, accurate enough for me. Heart rate, little concerning. That elevation gain, little bit concerning, but battery life is definitely good. So let's go back over here. So 44%, that's a little over 24 hours of using the watch. So I think we're on about 30 hours now that I've been using the watch, and actually a little bit more than that. It's more like 36 hours, but only one workout. So that 13-mile run and 44%. So that's not bad. Again, I'm kind of guessing 2 full days of battery life based off of the usage I've gotten so far. Thanks for watching. Hope this video has been helpful for you, and we'll see you all in the next one. Peace.